Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Scotland once again and revisit one of my fairly local breweries from the Stirling area. So for this one we're going to do, I think, my fourth or fifth review from Fallon Brewing, and this is actually going to be the first dark beer that I'm reviewing for you from them. And I've tried this beer before and I do know that it's pretty damn good. So for this one we're going to have a look at the Choo Choo, which is a salted caramel milk stout, and it comes in at 6% ABV. This one incidentally has a rating of 90 overall on Rate Beer and within the style. I tried this one actually at Brewdog Stirling Untappd. I had a wee half of it and I know that this is a pretty damn good beer. Fallon Brewing, of course, are one of the breweries in Scotland that brew more in the American style rather than the kind of traditional style, and it does tend to depend on how old the brewer is actually, which style that a Scottish brewery will adopt. But these guys do some really nice things. Platform C, of course, is probably their kind of flagship beer, and I really do recommend that you have a look at that one. And if you're more into your dark beers though, this one will go down a treat. But definitely looking forward to having a closer look at this one for you guys on the channel, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery quickly. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my other reviews I've done from Fallon before. No doubt there will be more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Scottish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Fallon Brewing then. So Fallon Brewing was established by Paul Fallon, who's a former home brewer turned professional. I believe it was sometime around 2012 that this brewery was actually started. But initially, to reduce the start-up cost for the brewery, and also so that Paul could determine what type and what size of brew kit that he wanted to buy, they were brewing under contract at Traditional Scottish Ales, which is now the Black Wolf Brewery in Throsk near Stirling. It's just on the outskirts actually. I drive through it quite often. But the brewery now live in the old Kippen railway station near Stirling, which is in the vicinity of the Fintry Hills and Gargunnock. It's actually on the way out towards Loch Katrine if you go past Callendar and things like that. They're out that sort of way. But over the course of 2016 they built a new building at the brewery to increase the capacity, and they also installed a canning line in early 2017. So from early 2017 onwards we started to see these beers exclusively in cans, and I don't know if they actually do some of the special ones still in bottles, but I think mainly it's the cans. And you can see the artwork on the cans here. This is the kind of outline, I believe, of the Fintry Hills. But apparently all their beers are vegetarian and vegan friendly, and the brewery runs off 100% green energy. So pretty cool enterprise, and like I say, these guys are one of my favourite breweries probably in Scotland at the moment. These guys do some really nice kind of new wave American style craft beer, so definitely keep an eye on them. They are kind of constantly expanding. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the brewery for just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself. As I said, if you want to learn a little bit more about them, the link to the website and everything like that is in the description below. But yeah, I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork on this one. There you can see the Fallon symbol is of course this nice hop cone here. I'm just looking at the camera control to make sure you can see that nicely. You can see the outline of the Fintry Hills on the top. It tells you that this one is 100% natural. It says on the side here, Choo Choo is a sweet, briny, chewy troublemaker brewed with dark Belgian candy syrup, lactose and Hebridean sea salt. So yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Try it alongside a nip of your favourite lightly peated whiskey. I should have thought about that actually. I had a little look at Talisker Dark Storm or some Lafroig or something like that. But yeah, 6% ABV this one, and it does fit into the category of sweet stout. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Oh, there we are. Nice wee bit of smoke in the opening, and we'll get it out into the glass. Yeah, so like I was saying, I tried this beer before at Brewdog in Stirling. They had it on tap. I had a nice wee half of this, which is probably just is a little bit less than you'll find in the can, but I can tell you this is a really nice beer. This is probably one of the best kind of sweet stouts, or one of the best American style stouts I've had in Stirling. Probably my favourite one that I had before actually was the Riptide from Brewdog, but there are some other really nice ones out there. Mills and Hills, of course, is a really nice big imperial stout from Fine Ales. That was brewed in collaboration with De Molen, of course, from the Netherlands. That's probably my favourite stout I've ever had from Scotland, but this one is a really nice lighter kind of sweet stout. But as you can see, this one's poured exactly as you would expect from a nice stout beer. It's definitely a dark ebony rosewood sort of colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy beige tan hen on it, one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, it does actually look very, very nice. So, and you can smell some of this nice kind of chocolatey caramel sweetness coming out of it as you open up the can. But let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Yeah. So it actually, what's interesting about this is that it actually smells a lot more roasty than I remember it being. Yeah, there's a nice little bit of that roasted kind of black malt backbone in there, but you can definitely get some of that syrupy, caramelly. It's almost a little bit like a treacle note. You can smell some of those toasty brown sugars in there. But there's a lot of dark and sweet chocolate coming out. But definitely, I would say this one's got a lot more kind of roasty black malt to it than I remember it having. When you shake it up a little bit, you can almost get a wee bit of earthiness from the hops as well. I do think they've maybe used English hops in this one, just going by the aroma. Just because there's that distinct kind of earthy, ashy character to it actually. I do wonder if they've maybe used a wee bit of Fugels and some Goldings or something there. I might be completely wrong. I did that with a stout earlier on, and earlier on in reviewing beers, and the guy said to me it was one of the, I think was it Magnum or something like that they'd used in it. Or there was a hop that was quite popular from America and they'd used that, and I thought it was English hop. So I might be completely wrong with that, right enough. But it does smell, definitely, this beer smells a lot more roasted than I remember it. You can pick up a little bit of that dark ready fruit. There's almost a little bit of a kind of plummy or raisiny note that comes out this one at the back end, but definitely a lot of chocolate, a lot of brown sugar, but it's a lot more roasted than I remember. This one is very kind of straight up in its aroma. It doesn't have too much complexity, but it's quite strong in those kind of fairly more simple elements that it puts out. But I can tell you, in terms of the flavour, this one does have quite a bit going on. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer. As I always say though, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you actually get stuck into it. But this one is the Choo Choo from Fallon Brewing in Kippen, just in Stirlingshire in Scotland. Let's get stuck in. Slange. Yeah, that's really nice. As I was saying, it's a lot sweeter in the aroma than you would think from the. It's a lot sweeter in the flavour, sorry, than you would think from the aroma. And I do love it how you get some beers that, you know, taste exactly as you'd expect from the smell, but you do get ones that surprise you. Like if I remember this one actually being sweeter in the aroma from the tap when I had a little look at it, but definitely in the can, this one's a lot more kind of roasty and earthy, I would say. But it's a really, really quite nice beer. If you get the chance to try this one, have a look at it. This is one of the best kind of lighter sort of sweet stouts that you're going to come across in Scotland. It's definitely a different kind of pace, if you like, from the Riptide. The Riptide, as I say, was my favourite sweet stout that I've had in Scotland so far, I think. But this one certainly pushes it very close. This one probably would actually become my favourite if I had a few more of them, but it's really, really nice. So yeah, when you first take this beer in, you do get a nice little bit of that roasted black malt, and as the flavour progresses, you can feel just a little bit of that. It does start to push its way out of the flavour slightly, but overall this is a huge, big, oily and sweet stout more than anything. You can just feel, I don't think I've ever quite come across a milk stout, apart from the Canadian one that I had. I think that this one just has that really big lactosey feel to it. I don't know if they've actually used lactose in the brewing of this one, or there is a wee bit, yeah. But this one does actually, it's just so smooth. It's absolutely lovely. You can mistake this for being one of these kind of pool cask beers, and I think with cask conditioning, this beer would just be absolutely lovely, but I'm not sure if you can do that if there's lactose in the beer. I do think there is something about the conditioning that stops you being able to do that, if I'm remembering correctly. But this is really nice. So like I was saying, that kind of lactosey, milky flavour just dominates the palate, and as you go further on you can feel a little bit of the roastiness kind of pushing its way out, and that syrupy kind of treacly brown sugar that comes out of the beer as well is really nice. You can feel the sweet chocolate just lingering there right in the middle of the palate, and the brown sugars just come out a wee bit more as you push out towards the edge of the tongue. There's not a big hoppy presence in this beer. You can pick up a little bit of earthiness in the back corners of your palate. There is a wee tiny bit of bitterness there, but as you come forward along the sides of the tongue, you can feel it really does just smooth out. You do feel a little tiny bit of that bitterness as you come towards the front corners of the palate. You can feel it there. Then around the front curve of the tongue, it just smooths out a little bit. But overall, this beer, it really is a very kind of smooth experience. I think this would be a lovely one to have in cask conditioner, but you could actually taste this blind and you could be forgiven for believing that it's a cask conditioned beer. It's that smooth. But yeah, really nice beer. As I say, one of my favourite sweet stouts I've come across from Scotland, and you can definitely pick up, it comes out a bit more in the aftertaste, you can definitely pick up that slightly salty element that this beer has, and I can see this is a beer that really got big plaudits actually when it first appeared. I do remember it coming out as one of their limited edition batches and it being really highly recommended. I never tried it at the time right enough, I can't remember why, but I tried it later and it really is good, so try this one. Really just have a go at it. As the flavour progresses, there is almost just a wee kind of touch of a nutty flavour that I'm picking up in the middle of the palate, maybe even a little bit of woodiness, but overall, like I said, it really is pretty much straight up this beer. It's not one that's kind of overly complex, but what it does very well. I think that's a good way to kind of sum this one up. There's a wee bit of a red fruity character there as well. Yeah, if you just go behind the front curve of the palate, you can feel some of those nice kind of juicy red fruity esters coming out. It does have a little bit of sharpness to it. I would say there's a wee bit of a kind of plummy raisin sharpness to it, but as the flavour progresses a bit more into the aftertaste, it does start to lean a little bit more towards the kind of candied red fruit esters. And as you progress, and as the aftertaste goes on and on, you do get a little bit of that roasted black malt backbone, and some of the chocolatey caramel sweetness just starts to sit in the middle of the palate too. But overall, this beer, it just goes together really well. As I say, repeated it a few times, but this is one of my favourite sweet stouts that I've come across from Scotland so far, and you know, they just did a great job with it, and I would love to see them experiment with that kind of malt base that they have a little bit more and just see what they could do with it. It'd be interesting to see them try some coffee stouts and things like that. They've already mastered the sweet stout by the looks of it, so it would be cool to see them try some coffee stouts and things like that. But a really just lovely beer. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say mid to full bodied, probably leaning towards the full bodied side of things. Big oily mouthfeel this one. Carbonation is very smooth. Malt base really does lean towards the sweeter side of things. There is a wee bit of a roasty character to it and bitterness, but really not a lot at all. Really low in terms of IBUs. There's not too much of a hoppy bitterness. It is more smooth than anything else, but it's a really damn good beer. There's a wee bit of juicy fruity character as well, but everything just balances very well in this, and it's a great beer. So yeah, have a go at this one. One of the best sweet stouts you're going to come across in Scotland, I think, and Fallon Brewing are consistently putting out some really good things. So if you enjoy an IPA, have a go at the platform C. If you prefer your stouts and having your beers for dessert, then the Choo Choo is one that's certainly not going to disappoint. So yeah, check out Fallon Brewing and check out the Choo Choo if you get the chance. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you have tried it. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Fallon Brewing, and do let me know what some other Scottish beers that I might not have heard of as well, because I'm not in the country all that much, but this is a really good one that I recommend if you enjoy a nice sweet stout. So until the next time, Slange just now, make sure you check out all the usual social media and these things, and do follow Fallon Brewing, one of the best craft breweries in Scotland at the moment for these nice new wave American style beers. So this one was the Choo Choo from Fallon Brewing in Kippen near Stirling in Scotland. Until the next time, Slange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Cheers.